What's up, everyone? It's Wacko. Welcome you to another prediction video for the DLC megas for Legend ZA. Um, Now, you might be looking at the megas that are already released. However, I wanted to just go through them really quick and show like what changed between them all and what I think the DLC megas will be because of it. And just kind of see like that trend. And then maybe the predictions will be a little bit more accurate. So, anyways, as we can see, and I'm not going to go through like all the stats, but you can see like most Pokemon gained at least 10 or lost 10 in each stat. I think the only exception is Starmie getting 5 in speed. Everything else is at least 10. A 10-point increase, or like a bunch of weird decreases. Um, so keep that in mind for some of the predictions. I'm just looking through here to make sure I'm not missing like anything too obvious. I do actually want to look at the Kalos starters specifically. Now, the Kalos starters are their stats were in the base game, sure, but you had to have online to get them, and because they weren't in like the base game and like you're paying more money to get them than other than the base game, because I feel like the other megas plus like the actual game itself, like you're paying for all that, so they could mess around with some of the stats and like kind of fuck with shit, kind of like they did with Scolipede here. However, with like DLC megas or like megas that you have to pay for additionally after the game's release, like Chestnut, Delphox, Greninja, I don't think their stats are gonna get wasted anywhere. So like for Chestnut, there's no stats wasted in special attack. For Delphox, there's nothing wasted in attack or defense. I guess I could argue like they could have put some in defense, like they could have done like 15 in special defense, 10 in defense, would have been fine. Same thing either way. Greninja's a mixed attacker, so I wouldn't say that they wasted stats anywhere, but again, I guess you could argue that they did with attack, but it can be used as a physical attacker. It gets both sword stance and plot. So they want you to use it as a mixed attacker. And that was kind of the point. And then other mons wasted quite a few stat points, like Pyroar 20 in attack, Floette 20 in attack. Um, Barbercool wasted like 10 in special attack, Dragalge 10 in attack. So they all, except for Halucha. Halucha also didn't really waste any stat points. Um, so yeah, let's keep that in mind. And yeah, again, spoiler warning. I will be showing all of the new megas that are leaked and the ones that have been shown. Um, so if you don't want spoilers, click off the video now. But because spoilers are going to be in the title of the video, then I think you're stupid if you click the video and expected there to not be spoilers. So anyways, my predictions will start here. I should be showing Raichu at the top, so yes. I do have type predictions and ability predictions as well. So again, these are all DLC megas, except for, I guess, Baxcalibur you probably don't need the DLC for, because technically it is a rewards thing. So I guess I'll get into that last because it's the last mon on the list. So with Raichu X, they talked about it being pretty defensive. So my prediction for Raichu X was that they're gonna make it a physical attacker. I think this is the guy that's gonna be like the Volt Tackle mon, because I think one of the Raichus, like they're gonna want to make it like a Volt Tackler basically. Um, and I think one of them will get Transistor. This one I predicted to get Electromorphosis because it's kind of a defensive-ish ability. I could see it getting that. Um, So yeah, I predicted it to get an extra 40 in attack, 60 in defense, minus 30 in special attack, 20 in special defense, and 10 in speed. So basically, other than HP and special attack, all of its stats are above 100. It's very fast. It's semi-bulky. It's about as bulky as like base Scrafty. I think base Scrafty is a little bit bulkier, but with Raichu, you could run it bulkier. I think it gets both Bulk Up and Calm Mind. So you can run it that way. It's faster than Scrafty and it's stronger. So I think this is a way to make it good and make it feel like you paid for it. With Raichu Y, I predicted it to be a little bit faster, but more of like the special attacker variant, because its special coverage is a lot better. However, because I'm not decreasing its stats that much, I actually think it might get an increase in attack still. Not as much as Raichu X, but I think Raichu Y is going to be like the more mixed attacker. It's just not as bulky as Raichu X, because I think Raichu X, they want to make it the bulky guy, whereas Raichu Y is more focused on speed and damage. So I think they're going to go like kind of the Greninja route, where they increase its attack stats quite a bit. Special attack probably a little bit more, since Raichu X is the more physical attacker variant. And I guess they'll probably increase its special defense like a little bit. And I'm predicting this thing to get like Transistor, because again, it's Raichu, it's a Pikachu thing, so like they're gonna want to make it broken probably, or as broken as they could make it. And I think Transistor makes sense, because I think Feraligatr will get Dragon's Maw, so having Regieleki and Regidrago's abilities also go into two, one or two of the megas, I think will make sense. But I think they would do Dragon's Maw and Transistor. I don't think they just pick Dragon's Maw for like Gator, for example. So yeah. Also, I don't have like the artwork for everything updated here. You could even see that on like the thing I showed you guys for the megas that are already existing. I'm just too lazy to update these. So yeah. With the next three Pokemon, we already know their stats pretty much. I guess they could be subject to change, but I don't think they are, and I think the Zeraora on the website kind of confirmed it, in terms of, I think, either like its height or its weight not changing. But yeah, so Heatran, it's getting 30 in attack, 45 in special attack, 35 in special defense, and minus 10 in speed. This is one of those weird cases where I guess they are technically wasting points in attack. However, I bet that they're gonna give it some new physical coverage. I don't know if it gets Flare Blitz right now, but it might get Flare Blitz. It does get Heavy Slam, so having Heavy Slam off a base 120 attack is a lot better than 90. And also it's a legendary Pokemon, so it's possible they didn't want to make it like too broken. Like they don't want to make it too fat, and they don't want to make it like too like they don't want to make its special attack higher than like Mewtwo's, because special attack is already 175 after Mega Evolving. So I'm assuming they put the 30 in attack just to not have to put it in like defense or speed, because if it's fast, it's tough. So I'm assuming that's why they did that to Heatran. And you'll see the same thing with Darkrai. However, they kind of didn't hold back that much with Zeraora. I think because Zeraora's a mythical, and I don't like, it's not gonna see competitive play ever anyways, other than like whatever Smogon tries to do with it. So it's gonna be in Ubers. I don't care if Electric is a shitty typing, but it's probably gonna stay in Ubers. Base 157 attack and 147 special attack is just freaking insane. 153 speed is faster than everything except Dio speed. And it doesn't, like, it's even faster than Dragapult, so you could invest in bulk if you wanted to, but having a mon that's faster than Pult and can kill it with knockoff or play rough is pretty broken. It didn't gain any bulk, but because it's so fast, especially in draft, I think Zeraora is just gonna be banned to Ubers. Like, I don't think there's a world where this thing with its current move pool, even though its current move pool is a little bit lackluster in some areas, I don't think there's a single world where Mega Zeraora is like okay in draft. I think it's gonna keep Volt Absorb. I think. Oh, for the record, I think Heatran, and it depends on design too. But I think Heatran probably keeps Flash Fire. But Zero Aura, I think you keep Volt Absorb because of the way Plasma Fists work. You want to get HP back if your opponents are clicking normal moves on you when you use Plasma Fists. So like that's kind of the point of Plasma Fists. They could upgrade Volt Absorb to like Lightning Rod or like Motor Drive if they want to, but I think it's just going to be Volt Absorb based on its design. Darkrai is an interesting one. It has really good stats, but they lowered its speed by 40. So it's gonna be about as fast as like Suicune and like I don't know, Toxicroak. Um, kind of a bad speed tier. It is faster than Go, but it's slower than stuff like Great Tusk, Mora. So it's gonna be kind of rough for it. However, its bulk might allow it to live hits that it wouldn't have otherwise. It's just kind of sad because I think as a mythical Pokemon, like they should have put it in the same boat as Zera. I think they should have just let its speed stay and then not have increased its attack so much. But I kind of see a scenario where like you could run like bulky Darkrai with like Swords Dance. I believe it gets Swords Dance. It also gets like Drain Punch. It gets Sucker Punch knockoff. So it's kind of like Scrafty, but it's worse than Scrafty. Like the only thing Darkrai has more than Scrafty is more speed after Mega Evolving, a little bit more HP, and a special attack stat that you could do things with. But like, I don't think physical Mega Darkrai is still gonna be a thing. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Bad Dreams is already its signature ability, so I would assume it would keep Bad Dreams. It's just a little bit unfortunate for Darkrai. It definitely should be allowed in OU. It'll be allowed in Draft, I think, with the stat spread. I don't really see anything that it would do that would warrant it to be banned, because again, like it is kind of like a worse Mega Scrafty in some way if you are using it as a physical attacker. And as a special attacker, it's a little bit too slow. It does get agility. You could maybe do like some dual dance stats with like agility plot, but Darkrai I think enjoys its coverage moves at least, so we'll see. I don't think it'll be banned though. Could get some sweeps, but just because it can sweep doesn't mean it'll be banned. Chimecho is one of those poster children for what I was talking about earlier. I think they're gonna increase its stats a lot. And to be fair, Chimecho, even though its base stat total is kind of low, I actually don't think you need to do much to make it good. So what I thought of was decreasing its speed by about 20. It would be able to underspeed stuff like Ursaluna. Both Ursalunas, also Mega Chestnut, it would underspeed that. And you're paying $30 for it, so it'd probably be slower than Chestnut if you're trying to use it as a Trick Room sweeper. It can even self-set its Trick Room. In singles, I could see it being like a Calm Mind or like a Cosmic Power dude with like Draining Kiss, Stored Power. And the nice thing about Chimecho is it's a Steel type now, so you can't poison it. You can burn it. It's not gonna care about being burned unless they somehow make it a physical attacker. But it's not gonna be a physical attacker. It's gonna be a special attacker. The thing I don't understand though is what the Steel type is doing offensively for it, because it doesn't get any Steel type moves, so it might get Flash Cannon. I saw it get Boom Burst in the trailer, but I don't really think if they made an ability called like Metallic Voice, that would make sense, but I think it might keep Levitate just because it's like Levitate is kind of Chimecho's like identity before. Not as much as Electros, but it's one of the original mods that got Levitate. But I could also see it getting like an ability that's kind of like Liquid Voice, but for Steel. They'd probably call it like Metallic Voice or something. But I think it would translate too close to the move that's already existing called Metal Sound. So we'll see. But I think with the stat spread that I predicted for it, I think it's going to be very good. 75 HP is high enough for a Mega, and especially with like 120 defense, 130 special defense. This is tankier than Mega Sableye, with a typing that it can't get poisoned. Mega Sableye does have Magic Bounce, um, and it has more annoying tools, but Chimecho could be pretty similar. It could be like a little bit like a power crept Sableye, and I think this would be very good in draft if it had the stat spread. And I even though I increased a lot of its stats by 40, I could see it happening for sure. Absol Z. Now I really don't know how to predict these Z Pokemon because they already have Megas. So I'm wondering, like, how do you make them? How do you create like a new identity for them without making them like worse or just like not really fit the character of the Pokemon at all? And for Absol, I kind of thought make it a special attacker because it has a lot of special coverage, but it doesn't really use like its physical attack in Mega Form is so high that you just use physical on Absol. But I think you could make it a special attacker. But I think to make it a special attacker without making it worse is you have to take away from its attack. Even if I left its defenses the same, it's still too frail, and like overall, like you're making it a worse Pokemon than regular Mega Absol. So I think you take away from its attack stat, you increase its bulk like a little bit, you make its speed like the same as regular Mega Absol already. They could make it faster, they could make it slower, but if they make it slower, they'd want to make it tanky. And I think this is the spread that I ended up on, is they made it, I think they'll make it a little bit tankier. They'll give it the 40 speed like the other Absol did, and they'll pretty much double its special attack because I don't really see what else it would get. I think potentially it would get the Dark Fairy typing with Perish Body as its ability. My idea behind Perish Body, I didn't really have like a better thought, and Perish Body is kind of a throwaway ability, but I think lore-wise it could make sense if like the Z Megas are just like corrupted Megas, and instead of warning of disaster, like it is the disaster, like if you touch it, you're just gonna die. At least in the way that Pokemon would do it. I put Perish Body, but I also could see it getting an ability that's like Destiny Bond, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Absol, the Z guys are the ones I feel like I tried to cook on, but I don't know how well it really sits with me, or for the audience watching, so we'll see. Staraptor is going to get a Mega. Staraptor is also pretty close to being a good Mon. I think it is a good Mon, it's just, it is really item reliant, and when you're removing its item, it's kind of difficult, because it loves Choice Scarf, it loves Choice Band. But I think the only reason it likes Scarf is because base 100 is just a tough speed tier at this point. Like, it has to outrun other base 100s or things that are like very slightly faster than it. So it just opts to run Scarf so it can outrun things. But if you give it like 115 speed, I think it automatically will be able to outrun things that it would want to anyways. So again, like 115 speed, it's a little bit faster than like Mega Gallade in this instance. And for losing an item, I think its speed tier would be fine. It would get quite a bit of bulk. I think it might get like 30 in defense, 15 special defense. It has 85 HP, which is pretty high for Mega, so I could see it being decently tanky. You could probably even see it like defensively, like a tanky set maybe. I think the rest goes in attack. I don't think they waste anything in special attack. It doesn't have anything going for it on the special side. So I think increasing its attack to just like 160 is going to make it better. And I think Tough Claws makes a lot of sense. Tough Claws boosts about all of its moves. It should boost Quick Attack. It should boost Double Edge. It should be boosting Brave Bird Close Combat. And I think they might make it a Fighting Flying type. It was one of those weird mons in Gen 4. Like, I'm pretty sure it learned Close Combat by, like, level up. Or I think it learned Close Combat by evolving into Staraptor. So I think they could go the fighting type route with it. It'd make it a little bit more interesting than normal flying, and I think we have... Well, I would say we have enough normal type megas, but I also think we have way too many fighting type megas, so I could kind of see it go like either way. Could stay normal type, could go flying. I like the fighting flying type. Would also kind of take away a little bit from Halucha, but Halucha I think has more defensive tools than Staraptor, so I guess we'll see. They'll probably actually keep it normal flying. Now I think about it, because they don't want to make it better than Halucha, but it's not like they made Skull Villain and then released Ogerpon Hearthflame like 10 months later, you know. Next up is Garchomp Z. So regular Mega Garchomp does gain quite a bit of special attack upon Mega Evolving. However, I think they might go like the more mixed route with it. They wouldn't increase its attack that much. And its special attack would match its attack, I think. Now, my thought is they'll make it a little bit faster, because I think making two slow Mega Garchomps is just kind of stupid. I said something about water ground typing. It is a shark, so I think you could give it a water typing. It does get Liquidation, it does get Aqua Tail, it does get Surf, and it might get Hydro Pump, to be honest. I don't exactly know, but I think it does. I think it'd be really cool. And they could give it Dragon's Maw, or like some reskin of Dragon's Maw, because I don't think it's gonna have like a Dragon Jaw or like draconic features that would make it like a Dragon Maw type thing. But they might give it like a reskin of that ability for Garchomp, so that it can keep Dragon Stab, like Steelworker or whatever. Yeah, I'm thinking of Steelworker. I was also thinking of Steely Spirit, but no, I'm thinking of Steelworker, where it just gets Stab on like the dragon moves. Again, this is pretty like overcooking, but I think if they want to make Mega Garchomp Z like a different identity than regular Mega Garchomp, like they're gonna have to do something like this. Like they could make it bulkier. They could make a really fat Garchomp that's just like a rough skin bot. It would be a little bit boring, but I think this way, like it's a mix attacker that's a little bit bulkier, a little bit faster, a different typing upon Mega Evolving. Something kind of interesting. Lucario, I think, again, with the Z Megas, I don't exactly know what it means, but I saw some ideas online about making it like a physical attacker, or well, like a more physical attacker, but like a ground type that's bulky. Or at least a lot of the designs I saw, like it looked bulkier, and I think in this scenario, you could increase its attack stat by a lot, make it a bit better defensively, and increase its special defense by a little bit. I will say I'm not a fan of the stat spread, but I also think at some point like Game Freak will probably like mess some of these guys up, or like not make them as broken as they should be or could be. I think the original Mega Lucario is already the broken version of Lucario that people want, and I think this is just like a cool, like it might not look cooler, because I think Mega Lucario is cool, but like they'll make it edgier in like a different way, and I think it'll be bulkier with like setup stuff, and I think they'll make it like a ground type, or they could make it a ground type, because I remember when Karina gives you Lucario in X and Y, it has Bone Rush, and it gets other moves like Earthquake and like Dig, Bulldoze, so it has ground moves at its disposal. So I could see that happening. They could also decrease its special attack to increase either like speed or special defense a little bit more, or attack or defense a little bit more. I'm not really a fan of the stat spread, but in this way, like you could still be a mixed attacker with Lucario if you want to. This isn't awful, but this is kind of like, it's pretty similar to Mega Absol, except it's slower. It's just a little bit bulkier than Absol. with a different typing. Golurk is one of the ones I think I cooked the most on. Now, the whole thing with Golurk is this Pokemon is like really ancient, and it has like that seal on its chest to keep like power inside of it. So I thought, what if you broke that seal? And what if you made it like a special attacker? Like you unleash its special attack power because like the seal breaks. And then it starts like flying around because it can already fly, but it's not a flying type. So what if you keep ground ghost typing, but you make it levitate, and you make it a special attacker that's fast and a little bit bulkier? You can do that, but you have to get rid of like 70 points in attack to make it work. I think this is like a Golurk is like the Mega Starmie of the DLC to me. I think that like I don't know if I want them to do this, but I could see it happening. Its special move pool isn't that bad. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it has Earth Power, it has Shadow Ball, Hex. It gets like Wisp. I'm pretty sure. It might get like Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, Focus Blast probably. So its special move pool isn't awful. I will say like making its special attack only like 11 points higher than its attack already was before, kind of meh. But I'm also making it bulkier. 89 HP with 100 in both defenses, like, is bulky-ish. 105 speed is also, like, fast enough, probably, for something like Golurk. So I could see something like this happening, but this is, like, this might be worst case scenario, but this is at least, I think, viable somewhat, where it's faster than that 100. It's still strong on the special side, and it has good defenses. And you could use it before Mega, and you could use physical attacks. So you don't know like what Golurk you're gonna face technically if it ends up in a lower tier. And I think Levitate's cool. So I think that's what they'll do with Golurk. Not that it's ideal, but I could see it happening. If they just decide to increase its attack a little bit and like, I think even if they make it a physical attacker, like they're still gonna have to decrease its special attack or like not make it as bulky, because I think it needs like 105 speed to be like viable offensively. So we'll see, or to make it good offensively at least. This Meowstic, I don't know why I don't have the psychic typing written down for it. Meowstic is interesting. When I saw it in the leaks, it didn't really make sense to me, but now that I think more about it, I think they could just combine its hidden abilities together. Female is the more offensive one, whereas male is the more defensive one. You just combine competitive and prankster like as one. They could do this with Pyro too, but male and female Pyro don't have like a difference in like move pool or abilities, so I think Meowstic, they could do that if they use one design for Meowstic, because this is one of those where like its identity is different with the genders. It's like giving Indeedee like 2 different megas, so like they could give Meowstic 2 different megas, but the leaks just put it on there once. So I think they're just gonna combine both of them together to make an offensive mon that can also use defensive tools. By increasing its defenses a decent amount, make it faster, make it stronger. It's not the best thing in the world, but Meowstic is already not the best thing in the world. I even decreased its attack by like 10 points just because. But in this world, like it's decently bulky. It's pretty strong. It's really fast. It's kind of like Pyroar, but just a little bit better. Typing is not as good as Pyroar's, but it's a little bit better in like this instance, I think. So I could see that happening. Carbonable, this is the mon that this is what made me want to like make this video, is Carbonable. I'm gonna open up my video to make sure Bexcalibur is there, because I don't want to have to scroll anymore. Okay, Bexcalibur is there. So, Carbonable. This mon is, I think, almost good. Its HP is high. which is good because a lot of Megas don't have good HP stats, but having 97 HP is pretty good. Its speed stat is bad, but you could make it good for Trick Room. I think that's what they're gonna want to do with Crab. Is I've seen Crabominable work in Trick Room, both in singles and doubles, and it kind of actually does work. But I think they want to give it a Mega because I think they want to lean into like this offensive typing quite a bit. I like fighting ice offensively. It's a really cool typing. I think they'll increase its attack a lot. And then they'll increase its defenses like kind of semi-evenly. I thought having 2 of the stats being 97 might be like symbolic of something. I don't know. Maybe there's something about like Abominable Snowman or like crabs and like the number 97. I don't know. They could do that. But yeah, just a strong Trick Room guy. I said that its ability might be something like Freeze Fist. My idea behind Freeze Fist is like any punching move might have like the chance to freeze at the target, like a 10% chance to freeze. It might be kind of stupid and pointless. I would kind of hope that they keep Iron Fist on it because I think like Ice Hammer is it's a punching move and you could use like Drain Punch, Thunder Punch, Ice Punch. Well, you have Ice Hammer. And the cool thing about Ice Hammer also is it lowers its speed. So it just makes it better in Trick Room if you lower its speed. And I think they want to make it, again, like another Trick Room menace, like for the physical attackers. So that's what I predict. Gliscopod, I kind of had like a modest prediction for it. Its stats are already pretty good, but I think they'll just make it, like a teeny bit faster, a little bit more defensive, more attack. They're probably not going to waste much in special attack. But I think like it kind of got like the Phalanx spread where it got like 35 in attack and defense. Except I split up the special defense and speed a little bit more interestingly because I don't think plus 30 in speed is doing much for it. Like 70 speed is not good. But like 50 is okay if you want to use it in Trick Room. Or it can outspeed stuff like Ting Lu and like other slow mons that are like in the 40s. Its ability, I said it might get something like Scare Off where it's like a reverse emergency exit where when your opponent gets below half health, it might get scared and like it might force like red card in a way. They might keep emergency exit as well or like change its ability a little bit because Gliscopod, like they made its stats good, but I think they kind of failed to like emergency exit just wasn't what they wanted it to really be. So they might change it, and I hope they do. Anyways, Magearna I think is gonna keep Soul Heart. I thought about Magearna being a mixed attacker again, so I made its defenses pretty even. I made its attack and its special attack even, and I put the rest in speed. I think they're gonna want to lean into this being like a shift gear sweeper. And I could see them doing that. It gets some decent physical coverage, I think. Maybe not the best, but I kind of just put stats in places where I was like, oh, this kind of looks like the Darkrai spread, and it made sense to me. So that's just kind of what I did with it. They could change Soul Heart to like a Beast Boost version of it, where like it just increases the stat that's the highest at the moment. Which would be like attack if you're like a shift gear set, maybe. I could see it, but at the same time, I could also see it just being like a fatter Magearna. I think they'd still have to waste some points in attack, but its attack set being 95 already, like it's almost a decent physical attacker if you wanted it to be, just because it's so bulky. But I guess we'll see. Magearna's not one of those mons where like I'm super excited to see it in competitive. I mean, it'll be Ubers anyways, because regular Magearna isn't Ubers, and I don't really know why they're giving this a Mega, another Steel Fairy type of Mega. Like, we just got, like, are you just trying to outclass Mega Mawile? I don't know. Next up we have Scovillain. Kind of similar to Greninja. I kind of thought they could make it. They could keep it as a mixed attacker. They'll make it a little bit faster probably to make its chlorophyll sets just more consistent. And I kind of figured just put the rest in bulk. This thing isn't great, but I think being a mixed attacker for like chlorophyll is gonna be good. And I don't think they're gonna go the chlorophyll route with Victory Bell, and they probably won't do it with Meganium. So I think with Scovillain, that's gonna be the chlorophyll guy in the sun. And they have like Swampert for rain. Sand, they might do Excadrill for sand, but they have Steelix and Garchomp as like sand force, but I don't know. Scovillain might be interesting, and I think they might try to keep it a mixed attacker, but I could also see them doing like a 10 here and like a 40 here and like 20 here. You know, just like to make its identity make a little bit more sense. But its stats are already like in a weird way like even. Like its defenses are even, its attack stats are even. I think they'd probably keep it that way, but I mean, I guess I said the same thing about Heatran, so, but they didn't do that with Heatran, so we'll see. Glimmora, we got 3 more Mons left. Glimmora is already a good Mon. I don't really know how they make it better without making it just more obnoxious. I thought it was interesting though, because I think alongside like Mega Diancie, because I think Carbink and Diancie kind of represent Mega Evolution more, but Glimmora represents Terastallization, so I thought for its ability, it might get like some type change ability, like Protein, Camouflage, Reflect type-ish type thing. They could also give it like Merciless to kind of coincide with like Toxic Debris or like Corrosion. So I could see that. I kind of hope I hope they buff Corrosion for like Victory Bell or something like that. But I think because it represents Terra, like it might be a weird like type change thing because that's what Terra is. And in turn, like for Glimmora to survive, like it has to adapt its type, something like that. I guess I could add color change to this list too. But for like its stats, I think its defenses go up quite a bit. Its special attack will go up a lot. Speed, like for some reason, like weird rock types shouldn't be fast, but they'll probably make it fast. So yeah, Tatsugiri is one of the sad cases. Tatsugiri sucks. I could decrease its attack by a little bit if I wanted to, but I think in terms of stats, like it's just gonna get a little bit bulkier. It's gonna be a bit of a bigger Mon, but like 68, 85, not good physically. 120 special defense is decent. Like this is kind of like it's a little bit bulkier than Gardevoir, I think. Like base Gardevoir, it's a little bit bulkier than base Gardevoir, but it's not faster than like Mega Guard. And its special attack is like, I don't know, this is just like a worse Gardevoir, but it has an interesting move pool with like Nasty Plot, Rapid Spin. So you could see stuff with that with like +1 off of base 92 and like +2 off of base 160. Might be cooking, and it's a little bit bulkier, like it'll take a hit from something with this bulk, and 68 HP isn't the worst. 85 defense isn't that bad. You could definitely invest in this scenario and then like Rapid Spin Plot. Special bulk is fine. Special attack is like decent at that level. So I think Tatsugiri will be fine. It'll be some weird like low tier Mon. Baxcalibur I think is going to be broken. I already made a video about Baxcalibur. They're just going to increase its defenses like somewhat evenly. They'll probably make its speed higher than 100, kind of like Excadrill. And then they'll just increase the rest in attack. 190 attack, I could see it. I can see them doing that. Like, they want people to use Baxcalibur in the DLC. And if it's one-shotting things, that's probably what they want him to do, is like one-shot things. His defensive typing isn't that great, but they could do that. And I think they could upgrade Thermal Exchange into like a Flash Fire, but increase physical attack, so like complete immunity to fire moves. Because before, like, you could still Fire Blast it, I believe, and it would just increase its attacks by 1. But having like a Flash Fire mode on it instead might put it over the top, and like that's probably what they'll do if they make any new abilities at all. It's like in terms of tiering, like these Raichus, they could be pretty high tier if they are like how I predict them to be. Like especially if this Raichu is like Transistor with water coverage, and it's fast. Like this could be kind of broken. It's, like 135 special attack is a lot higher than Regieleki. Raichu X probably like a mid tier if it's this way. Heatran, I think Heatran will be like around the same as normal Heatran, probably like a point or two more, just because it has more stats and it's a little bit stronger and it's a little bit bulkier, at least on the special side. Zeraora is gonna get banned. Darkrai might be like high tier still, because you could still use it as a normal Darkrai, and you can't really decrease its price that much as like a normal Darkrai. So like, if Darkrai is 17, then I can see Mega Darkrai being like 15 at like the least. Chimecho, I could actually see Chimecho being like a higher tier mon, like around like Jirachi price or like Iron Crown, like 12, if they really mess the stat spread like this. Absol might be a low tier, depends on how they mess with its stats. And if they give it like a fairy typing, like are you gonna give it Gleam, or are you gonna give it Moonblast? If they wanted to do that, then it would probably already have it, right? I think it might get Gleam already. I know it gets Play Rough, but if they make it a special attacker, like sure, whatever. It's gonna be a low tier though, because it's still too frail to like. This spread is still too frail. Staraptor might be like a 12-point mon, or like a 10, at least 10, but probably more like 11 or 12. Just comparing it to like Halucha in my scenario, with like Tough Claws, like it's just gonna destroy everything, and you're gonna need like a Scarfer or like a Stunfisk to wall it. And if they make it a fighting flying type, then this thing might be like pretty high tier. Garchomp, I think this Garchomp spread is gonna be better than regular Garchomp, or it's gonna be better than current Mega Garchomp. Especially as like a mix attacker, and if they make it have like 3 stabs, then pretty good. It's a little bit tankier and a little bit faster, so I think pretty good. If they keep Dragon Ground typing, then they just made like the SD set better, because Garchomp, I feel like it scale shotted to outspeed stuff like 110s, and if they make it 112, then it doesn't need to scale shot to outspeed that stuff. Lucario would be like a mid tier, like a, I don't know, like a 9 to 11 if it has like a spread like this and a typing like this. I didn't mention its ability, but like Scrappy. Golurk, again, like a mid tier probably. It's not super strong, but it is decently bulky and a little bit fast. It does get Rock Polish, I will say. So you could do something with Mega Golurk if it has like a good speed stat with Rock Polish. It doesn't get Rock Polish in like SV, but in Natdex draft you would be able to use Polish Golurk. Meowstic, this Meowstic spread probably again like a low tier ish, but it might be like 6 points, because like regular Meowstic, if it has all the tools that it would have already, it would just be better than like male Meowstic, which is in ZAOU currently. Like people are using it as an hyper offensive lead. So you could see something with Meowstic there. The Crab is gonna be a low tier, but it's gonna be good on Trick Room. It's gonna pair with like Slowbro, I think, because Slowbro can handle. Well, Crab can handle like the dark types for Slowbro. So you can like Future Sight into destroy something with Crab, or you can Trick Room into Crab. Gliscopod probably like a lowish tier, but not awful. It'll have its niche on like some teams. If you don't have a Mega already, I could see it. Magearna's gonna be banned. I'm not gonna talk about it. Skull Villain. probably again like a low tier, like the same price as like current Mega Victory Bell, because this is just worse Victory Bell. I feel bad for Scoville, and this thing needed just a normal evolution. I feel, but whatever. Glamora isn't gonna see a lot of play probably, but it could do something because its stats like it can't be worse than it already is. Not saying that Glamora sucks, but you can't really make it worse. Tatsugiri again, low tier without like an item, whatever. Baxcalibur is gonna be banned if it has the stat spread. So yeah. Anyways, those are my predictions. If you guys have other predictions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I look forward to interacting with some of the comments if I do get some. I definitely understand, like, I kind of overcooked on some of these, like the Golurk and like the Z Megas, like Absol, Garchomp, Lucario. It's just because, like, they already have Megas, and I don't really understand why they get another one, but if they really want to make another one, then I guess they will, but I don't really see why they'd make it similar to how they are currently. Other than the fact that I kind of made Absol just like the special variant of the way it already is. Um, but yeah, and then some of these other guys are like, they're kind of safe. Like the Crab is pretty safe. I think Golisopod stat spread is pretty safe. Um, I think Tatsu is pretty safe, and like Glamora is pretty safe. Magirna I definitely cooked on quite a bit. I think one of these Raichus is pretty safe. Like I think Raichu Y is what they're gonna do, like more than X, but I could see something like X happening. The Mythicals, don't need to talk about those. Staraptor I think is pretty safe. I think in a way like Meowstic is probably pretty safe too. So we'll see. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later.